Hi, I'm T Williams, DJ, producer, lecturer. The big draw to multiple genres is like not being in the box, not staying in the box, not being confined. When I first started out in grime, and it was like, when it got to a point where grime was like formed into a genre, because before, obviously I started before it was called the term grime, and before it was even a genre. So when it got the term grime and it became like a formula of a genre, then I started wanting to break free, go left and right and up and down, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's how I found house music. I just want to stay free. I just want to stay free all the time. No genre, please. Like, even that thing of self-expression, I always think about now. I think everybody, if you ask them the question, like, what genre do they like? Most people, because of Spotify, YouTube, whatever, most people be like, I like loads of genres, because we're all like that. We're never just one thing. We all like multiple different things and different flavors and different tastes. I am literally that, self-expression for sure. I want to touch everything and all the different things.
The one thing, though, that ties them all together is that they're all percussion focused.
100%.
Wow.
Has to be.
Why?
Has to be. Do you know what? I would say there's two things about that. Growing up, the music that was played in my household was all percussion based. So you're talking soca, calypso, roots reggae. I grew up Rastafarian, and we'd go to bingies, which is all just drumming all night long. And then also my parents dabbling in African spirituality as well. And again, just loads of drumming. For me, it's all about the percussion. I'm a drummer as well. That was like the first instrument that I picked up. Percussion is the root of all of this, all of the reason why I'm here, even my production. Some people will always ask me like, oh, hey, how comes your stuff is like so stripped back? Or how come I always like to keep it stripped back? If I get a good groove, I don't want to spoil it. I'll listen to that all night long, and that's it. African spirituality came into my family's life through Pan-Africanism, and I think that they were just trying to reconnect to their roots. We're from the Caribbean, but descendants of enslaved Africans, so of course they were trying to reconnect to our roots in West Africa. The island where my mum's from, Grenada, still has some remnants of those traditions floating around, those African spirituality, specifically on Carriacou. There are traditions that are there, like specifically the drumming that has just come with us from West Africa. My parents fully understanding that they wanted to reconnect, and so heaps of similarities and some straight lineage in terms of the things that lasted even with the transatlantic slave trade happening. These things still lasted in the Caribbean as well. So my parents are like just carried on that. Now we're in the UK. For me and my identity, it's how I can probably feel African and feel like I've got that identity connected back to my roots. It will be through the drum. It will be through the similarities in the music, the similarities in soca and calypso, high life or Afrobeat, reggae, all those similarities that we have, even though we're ocean apart, those similarities are there. So for me, that really just connects me back to my heritage that was stolen from me. It really connects me back to it. And it's empowering, right? If you think about what my ancestors had to endure for me to be here, this is still in my DNA. This rhythm is still in my DNA. The way I approach it is still in my DNA. It's amazing. It empowers me. I did a post on Instagram recently about UK Funky, and I've played UK Funky across the globe. It's a percussion-led genre that brings West African, calypso, the Caribbean rhythms, the reggae, all these things, all these percussion rhythms together, the Latin rhythms, all into one pot. And you can see, no matter where you go in the world, no matter the cultural backgrounds, once you start to play a UK Funky track, people, their ears prick up, they start to move a little bit, they want to come close. It connects in a completely different way to any other genre. People can look at melodies or specific instruments, the guitars here, and people might be like, oh, I don't like that sound. But the rhythm and the drum, it speaks to everybody. That's how I've seen it across the globe when I'm DJing.
So do you believe funky house is one of the most universal genres?
I just feel like most DJs have this get out of jail free card. If you've backed yourself into a little corner, like maybe you had the idea that you was going to play X genre on the day and you get there and the crowd's not feeling that. Most DJs have genres, and I feel like people might think hip-hop would be the main one. It could be because I'm British, so I am biased on this. But I would argue that you could go somewhere where people maybe, if they didn't even like hip-hop, they didn't really want to hear hip-hop on that night, that the rhythm of a funky track might still draw them in. They might not know what the genre is, they might not understand the song, but it would still draw them. Other genres don't. So yeah, I would say it's number one. I'm going to Bass Coast in Canada. BC, an amazing festival, an amazing community of people. You can really see how the music connects everyone together, like how they're like a little tribe, the Base Coast tribe or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They actually had a Native American do a set, but that person mixed the indigenous sounds and also like North American hip hop or whatever into it, even some D&B, some stuff. So it's just across the board. But at the root of it was this kind of spiritual indigenous sounds running through it. His name escapes me because he actually played before me, but I could see how he was like really connecting to everyone on the dance floor. The music was cutting through in a completely different way. So of course, like we were all playing house, which is spiritual in its own way, but this was really something special. And yeah, it just blew my mind, like how the music was connecting and how everyone was rocking and swaying. The rhythm was there. Everyone was almost in a trance-like state. It was early in the day as well, so it wasn't even super late. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4, 5 in the afternoon. So it wasn't like it was a late night thing, whatever. It was like early on. Yeah, so good. I give the DJ a little bit of a hail up as well because he's the conductor, right? He's the conduit flowing through him or her. So if the DJ's the conduit, I have to give some kind of reverence to them and be like, okay, I see what they are doing and how they're putting it together, curating it to create this rhythm that everyone can enjoy, sway to, move to, build a community around and be in unity to. So yeah, I give it up to the DJ and the music. Selectors, my opinion on selectors are, selectors don't have to have any technical ability. Anyone's a selector. If you've got a taste, then you're a selector, right? If you want to go deep and become a selector for a dance floor or a room, then you have to have a specific taste that other people can enjoy, and you have to know how to select for a room of people. The selector also will probably have music that goes deeper than just popular and commercial music. They'll pick something that feels nice and great, but you've never heard it before in your life. Digging deep, that's the selector. The DJ, I have to give it up to the people that do weddings. The DJs, they're real DJs, or you playing at your local bar, the week in, week out residency, the warm-up person, ex-big festival, ex-big club, the person who sets the tone and understands the crowd. They're feeding off what the crowd wants, that back and forth synergy, that conversation, and they've got the technical ability to scratch and turntable. They've got the technical ability to beat match and seamless flow. That's the DJ journey, story. The entertainer is going to go out there and entertain you. The music is secondary. The light show, the whole experience they're creating is what you're there to see. It's less about the music and tune selection and more about the entertainment of what they're presenting for that night. They can literally play the most mundane music, but have a sick visual behind them, light show, fireworks, cake. I would always dip through the flavours of music that I deem to be a strong representation of me. I'll always try and hit them with different things. You might go for something that's a little bit more familiar. It doesn't have to actually be the familiar song, but something they might recognise or feel like they'd recognise. You might go for something that in that part of the world resonates. So if I was in North America, then maybe I could draw for something that feels a little bit more hip-hoppy. So that might be me going to grime. It's got tempos and rhythms that connect, or something more MC-led. They're used to rappers. And I would pick different things that culturally might mean something to the people on the dance floor. The way they're moving to the different songs. That's just the only way. It's just the bodies. How are they moving? That person's really locked into what I'm doing. How can I keep them moving and get those party starter people? There's always there's people that come out for the entertainment of it, but there's always some come out to dance. Yeah, exactly. So you're one of those people that I have to lock in. How can I get Emma to move? If I can't get you to move, that's infectious, right? Then other people start moving.
Really? You're trying to pick out 1 or 2 people. I'm going to play for them?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I played at All Points East this summer. And yeah, there was just this guy. Imagine, I'm on a big stage, right? And like the BBC Six music stage. This one guy got the whole thing popping. It was me and Taylor J back to back. He got the whole thing popping. There's a video on my Instagram. People ended up circling him and then dancing. He was like, no, you lot dance. He was drawing everyone in. If you get those people on the dance floor, it's a wrap. But again, that's not just going to be they're not just onto any music. You still have to connect to make it work.
100%.
What makes a memorable set for me is when I'm no longer thinking about the fact that I'm DJing. You're beyond the DJ thing. Beyond thinking about the one person or the crowd in that respect, we're all in this together, enjoying ourselves. I happen to be selecting the music, but we're all just enjoying ourselves in the moment, and that's it. Those are far and few between, but they happen. And when they happen, transcendental, like this is like something, this is otherworldly, like, and those are the memorable sets. Those are the things I take away over the years. That could be me and 5 people, or me and, I don't know, a couple thousand. It's not a number, it's a feeling. And that's what makes it so memorable. The feeling in the bottle is, it's the good vibes. It's the good vibes, right? It's like your favorite moments. Do you know what? Also, for me, it gives me the feeling, you know, when you was a kid and you got a present that you didn't expect, but it was the present you really wanted. If anybody's had, that's what it is. If I was gonna bottle it, that's the feeling. It's, yeah, everybody's surprised. We're all surprised, but we're all surprised communally because this is just amazing. If I was gonna bottle it, I'd say it's just good vibes. Good vibes in a bottle. All the good vibes.
Do you believe that music and movement is medicine?
100%. Some of my toughest times, music has got me through. And the funny thing, people don't realise, but I don't do as much raving now. But my beginnings, I started out, I was just raving like anybody else. I'm just trying to go experience this just like anybody else. I was young and we used to go out. My friend Dwayne, he would tell anybody, like me and T, every weekend we're out. We got driving at 16 years old, right? Me and him, 16, 17 years old. We got driving just so that we could share the load to go raving, go out of town to dance. I may not be the best at dancing, but I do move my body. And that has healed me and got me through so many times in my life. There's a part of me that's still, you're still that. You always still search for that as well. Like, that's another thing. I've never stopped searching for those cool raving moments. You're on the dance floor with your friends. You don't want to talk to your friends, engage with nobody else. You just want to dance and enjoy yourself in your little bubble. That's what it is. I mean, I'm always searching for that. Sometimes I get it behind the decks, which is great. I truly believe me sitting here today is only because of music. And not in a way that is like on a financial, monetary one, but it's got me through life. You know what I mean? Really got me through life. To think we was doing grime and no one was caring about us, but me after school or like in college, I'll just go home, music. And then other side of it would be like, I need to get the new record, da, 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 da. And then if someone's upset me, headphones on, and we're out. You're in your room skanking out on your own. It's like medicine. It's such a blessing. We all have this really personal connection to music. It's like our personal connection to God. It's the same thing, like we have this own personal connection. Everyone believes theirs is the best or theirs is the coolest or whatever it is, rah, rah. And yeah, you just find that like there's something for everyone in this world because you see it through teaching, right? Different people come into the room from marginalised communities, different ethnic backgrounds, different cultures, all the rest of it. And you see them talk about music in a way that, for me, it's just like so inspiring. It really lights me up. It makes me realise, yeah, I'm doing this again. This is doing the right thing, giving something back, but also getting something out of that. And I learned so much. I think about it like this. We all have creativity in us. Everybody has a creativity in them. We're just conduits. That's how I see it. Without formal training or music theory understanding or anything that someone would say to make you a musician, as a young kid, I ended up making some of the earliest grime. That has to come from somewhere. You're making something out of thin air. Most of my friends that create will say the ideas that really stick with other people and connect with other people are the things that you've made without thinking. We really are conduits. When you hit that flow, it flows through you rather than from you. It's godly. Even if you don't believe in God, there's something else at play. That magic happens, you feel it. When you play it to someone else, it's almost like you've managed to bottle the magic you had in that moment in the studio. Friends know when they had something magical. They knew they had something that was going to connect to everybody else because that feeling they got. It's just the dope. Even to think of that, I always say if I'm feeling down or angry or upset, then I listen to happy music. And if I'm feeling happy and all the rest of it, then I definitely like to listen to Aggie music. But the crazy part about it, the same thing is true when I'm making music. If I'm feeling super happy in my almost lovey-dovey state, I'll end up making grime or something gully from that perspective. It's crazy because when I'm feeling those anger emotions, I can't make the angry thing. I don't want to feed I don't want to feed that anger or hate. I'll wind myself up more. It's weird, but chatting to people, and I realised that everyone has different relationships with. Some people, when they're angry and upset, either make really angry music or they listen to really angry music and they let all the rage out with that angry music. For me, it's the opposite. If I was to go into that, I would be probably going deeper into it. I'm thinking in my head now, then as a kid, because I had some moments where I was just frustrated, and you end up listening to. That was always my process, taking myself away from digging into the pit further. You can tell the different energy in a room when you play like different tempo or BPM, different genres. You can have something that's a lower BPM, but a gritty, hard, industrial vibe to it, and that will change the dynamic of the room versus something more upbeat or faster, but like hard energy, and the way people move to it changes each time. It is specific to each one of those things you mentioned. Each one does something different. But to create a vibe, to create a certain atmosphere. I personally think there's a lot of things in society we would have to fix before people would want to do something that doesn't have the hedonism in it. Ultimately, the hedonism, all of that is prevalent because of other things in society. If you removed it, it would be phenomenal. For people to understand other things in society would have to be fixed first. They would just see the hedonism removed and be like, well, I'm not going to do that because it's not the escapism I'm searching for. I'll just take the bottle at home. What I see right now is that there's lots of people just choosing to do the thing that they would probably do in a club minus the ticket. If you weren't going out for the music, stay your ass at home anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not welcome. Jokes. Amazing. Is there anything else you want to add?